Some secrets are never meant to be heard, but people, real people, decided they couldn't carry them anymore. So they went online, anonymous, and typed out the one thing they had never told anyone. What you're about to hear are 10 of those confessions. Some will make you angry, some will make you sad, and some will stay with you long after this video is over. Let's begin.
I work in a government benefits office. It's not a glamorous job, but I've always been proud of helping families who need it. I had been doing it for 11 years. I thought I'd seen everything. Then one morning, about 4 months ago, I took a call from a woman who wanted to register for assistance. She just had a baby. I started filling in her profile. Name, address, date of birth, all standard. Then she asked to add a second parent to the file. She gave me a name, a very familiar name, a birthday, my husband's birthday. I told myself it was a coincidence, common name, it happens. But something cold started spreading through my chest. I asked her to send in ID documents for verification. She said she would. She sounded completely normal, cheerful even. 30 minutes later, her email came through. And there he was. My husband of 9 years, smiling in a photo on a driver's license I had never seen. Wearing a shirt I had bought him for his birthday 2 summers ago. I sat at my desk for I don't know how long. My coworker asked if I was okay. I said yes. I processed 3 more calls that day. I don't remember any of them. The baby was 3 weeks old. My husband had told me he was away for work. We had been trying to have a child ourselves for 4 years. 4 years of appointments and heartbreak and him holding my hand and telling me we'd get through it together. I got home before he did. I made dinner. I set the table. And when he walked in, I watched his face and there was nothing. He kissed me on the cheek and asked how my day was. I said, "Quiet. Just paperwork." That was the last normal conversation we ever had. 3 years ago, I was at the lowest point in my life. I had just lost my job, my long-term girlfriend had left, and I had moved back into my childhood bedroom at 31 years old. I was so ashamed of where I had ended up that I started telling people I worked remotely for a tech company, a made-up one with a made-up title. It started small. Just something to say when relatives asked at Christmas. But then I kept going. I built a LinkedIn profile for a job that didn't exist. I invented a salary. I invented projects. I told my parents I was being considered for a senior role. I told my friends I had moved into my own place when I was still in the same childhood bedroom, just with a different background in my video calls. Here's what you don't realize when you start lying. It becomes its own full-time job. I spent 3 years maintaining a fiction. I memorized fake commute times. I invented coworkers with names and personalities. Once, my mom asked if she could visit my office for lunch, and I spent a week in a panic before telling her the company had gone to fully remote. The worst part is, it worked. Everyone believed me. My family was proud of me. My friends stopped asking if I was okay. The shame went away. Or at least it hid somewhere I couldn't see it. What came back instead was something I wasn't expecting. Grief. For the real version of my life that I'd let go quiet while I was busy performing this fake one. I finally came clean to my sister last month. She cried. Then she told me she'd always known something was off, but that she loved me either way.
least one person knows who I actually am now.
In high school, I reported a rumor about a classmate to our teachers. I said he had been making threats. I hadn't actually heard it from him. I'd heard it secondhand from someone who, I later realized, hated him and had made it up entirely. I believed it at the time. I was scared, and I did what I thought was responsible. I told the counselor told the principal, and within 48 hours, this boy, 16 years old, quiet, no friends, already struggling, was suspended pending investigation. The police came to his house. His parents were interviewed. He was eventually cleared, but by then the whole school knew. And small towns have long memories. He transferred schools 6 months later. I heard he dropped out eventually. I don't know what happened to him after that. I've tried searching his name a few times over the years and found almost nothing, which either means he's fine and private, or it means something else. I was never identified as the one who reported it. The counselor kept my name out of it. So he went through all of that and never knew who started the chain. I'm 34 now. I have a daughter. When she started middle school this year, I watched her navigate her first real social conflicts. Rumors, exclusions, the small cruelties of that age. And I had to leave the room because I couldn't look at her without thinking about what I did when I was not much older than she is now. I've thought about trying to find him and apologizing. But I also know there's a version of that where I'm just trying to make myself feel better at the expense of reopening something for him. So instead, I just carry it, quietly, the way you carry the things you can't undo.
My mother died 2 years ago. We had a complicated relationship, but I loved her. In the last weeks of her life, she said something to me that I have never repeated to anyone. She told me that the man I grew up calling my uncle, my father's brother, who had been at every holiday and birthday my entire life, was actually my biological father. She said she and my father had separated briefly before they married. During that time, she had an affair with his brother. When she discovered she was pregnant, she and my father had reconciled, and she let him believe I was his. She said she had never planned to tell anyone. She said she was telling me now because she was dying, and she was tired of secrets. Then she died, and I was left holding it. I was 41 years old. My father, the man who raised me, was still alive, still healthy, still calling me every Sunday. My uncle still came to Thanksgiving. Everything looked exactly the same from the outside.
I had a DNA test done, quietly. She was right. Here is what I have decided. I'm not going to tell anyone. My father is 73. He has a bad heart. He has spent 41 years proud of who I am. I am not going to take that from him over something he can never change and that happened before I was born. My uncle doesn't know either. As far as I can tell, he genuinely doesn't know. So I sit at every family dinner, and I pour the wine, and I laugh at the old stories. And somewhere in my chest, I carry this thing that changed everything and changed nothing at the same time. My older brother has been in prison for 6 years. He was convicted of armed robbery based on witness testimony and a piece of evidence I've thought about almost every day since the verdict. The evidence was a jacket. A dark green jacket with a specific logo on the arm. The witness said the person who robbed the store was wearing it. Police found that jacket in my brother's car. What I never told anyone, not the lawyer, not our mother, not a single person, is that I had borrowed that jacket 2 weeks before the robbery. I had worn it to a party. At that party, I had a brief argument with a man I didn't know. A man I later saw in news coverage of the robbery case, listed as a cooperating witness. I don't know if that man did it. I don't know if seeing my brother's jacket on me at that party gave him the idea to name it. I don't know if my brother is completely innocent, or if something else happened that I don't know about.
What I know is that I was too scared to come forward. I was 19. I had my own problems. I told myself the lawyers would figure it out. They didn't. My brother has never blamed me. He doesn't know. He writes me letters and asks about my life and says he's okay. I visit him when I can. I sit across from him in that room and I look at him, and I know that whatever happens next, I let the worst thing that ever happened to him happen without saying the one thing that might have stopped it. I still don't know what to do. I'm not sure I ever will.
I have two families, not sequentially, at the same time. And both of them believe I travel constantly for work. I am not proud of this. I want to say that at the start. I am not here looking for admiration or even understanding. I'm here because I haven't slept properly in 4 years. And if I don't say this somewhere, I think something in me is going to break. My first family is in the city where I grew up. A wife, 2 sons, a house with a mortgage, a dog named after a football team. A life I chose when I was 26 and meant completely.
My second family is 4 hours away. A woman I met on a work trip 6 years ago, a daughter who is 5, who calls me dad and draws pictures for me and keeps them in a folder to give me when I visit. The woman in the second city knows I'm married. She has chosen to continue anyway. Whether that makes this better or worse, I genuinely don't know anymore. I fly between cities every 10 days or so. I have separate phones, separate routines. I have become disturbingly good at this. The part that haunts me most isn't the logistics. It's that I love both of them. Not perform it, not fake it. I genuinely feel love in both of them. I don't know what that says about me. What I do know is that it cannot last. Things that can't last don't end on your terms. They end on their own terms. When I was 17, I found my father's investment account login information on a piece of paper he'd left in his desk. At the time, I had been watching videos online about day trading I had opened under a fake email address, using money I had no right to touch. And I started trading. I made money the first week, enough to feel like a genius. And then I lost it all. And then I lost more trying to recover. Within 2 months, I had drained $53,000. I closed the account, deleted the emails, and said nothing. My father discovered the loss about a month later. I watched him try to figure out what happened. He thought it was a hack. He spent money he didn't have on a financial investigator. He blamed himself for weak security. My mother was furious at him. They fought in ways I had never heard them fight before. We lost the house 2 years later. Not entirely because of what I did. There were other pressures. But the $53,000 was part of it.
My father worked extra shifts for 3 years after that. My mother went back to work after a decade away. I am 30 now. My parents still don't know. My father still mentions the hack sometimes, with a tired, baffled look that I can barely stand to see on his face. I have thought about telling him many, many times. I have also thought that some truths don't heal anything. They just relocate the pain. I send my parents money every month now. I tell them it's extra from bonuses. It's actually most of what I make. It will never be enough, but it's the only way I know how to carry this.
"8 years ago, I was driving home on a back road at around 2 in the morning. I'd been at a friend's birthday. I wasn't drinking. I rarely do. I came around a bend, and my headlights caught something in the tree line. A car, dark, pulled off the road. No lights. I slowed down. There were 2 men standing near the car. They were doing something near the trunk. One of them looked up when my lights hit him. We made eye contact for about 3 seconds. I kept driving. I told myself it was nothing. Mechanical trouble, camping gear, anything. 3 days later, a news story ran about a man reported missing from the town 6 miles down that road. He was never found. I don't know what I saw. I want to be clear about that. I was tired, it was dark, my glimpse was seconds long. But I know the road. I know the time. I know where I was. And I know I have never come forward. Because coming forward means saying out loud what I suspect. And once you say it, you can't take it back. The missing man had a family, children. His wife still posts on the anniversary of his disappearance every year. I have read every one of those posts. I don't know if what I saw was connected. I don't know if my description would help or confuse or send investigators somewhere wrong. I have convinced myself of all of these things at various times over 8 years. But the face of the man who looked up into my headlights, I see it still. I don't know what it means. I only know I haven't been able to forget it.
My best friend and I applied for the same job 9 years ago. It was a competitive position at a company we had both been targeting for 2 years. We had talked about it constantly. We even prepared for the interviews together. He was better qualified. We both knew it. I knew it. He had more experience, stronger references, cleaner answers to every question we practiced. The week before the final interviews, I found out who the hiring manager was through a mutual contact. I sent an anonymous email suggesting that my friend had a history of conflict with supervisors, something I had completely fabricated.
I got the job. He didn't. He was devastated. He thought he'd simply underperformed in the final round. He analyzed every answer he'd given for weeks afterward, trying to figure out where he went wrong. I watched him do this. I was at his apartment while he did this. I said things like, "You'll get the next one," and "their loss." He did get the next one, eventually. He's done well. He makes more money than me now, actually. He's been promoted twice and seems genuinely happy in his work. By any measure, his career turned out fine. But he still doesn't know that his best friend is the reason he didn't get that first job. He doesn't know that while he was blaming himself, the answer was sitting across from him, telling him to keep his chin up. I've never told anyone, not even people I've since grown close to. Some things you don't say because once they're out, they become the most true thing about you.
When I was 15, my grandmother gave me a letter to give to my grandfather. They were estranged, had been for years, living in the same town, never speaking. She handed it to me on a Tuesday afternoon and asked me to take it to him. I never delivered it. I don't fully know why. I think I was afraid of being in the middle of adult pain I didn't understand. I think I also didn't believe it mattered that much. I stuffed it in the back of a drawer in my childhood bedroom and eventually forgot about it. My grandfather died that December, suddenly, without warning. A heart attack at home on a Sunday morning. He was 68. My grandmother found out through a neighbor. She came to the funeral. She stood at the back. She didn't speak to anyone. She looked smaller than I had ever seen her. And I stood there, 14 pews ahead of her, knowing I had a letter in a drawer at home that she had written him, that he had never read, that neither of them would ever read now.
I found the letter again years later when we cleaned out my childhood home. I couldn't open it. I still can't. It's in a box in my closet right now. My grandmother is 91. She is in a care home. Some days she is sharp, some days she is lost somewhere I can't reach. I visit her when I can. She has never mentioned the letter again. I don't know if she remembers asking me. I don't know if she made peace with whatever was in it on her own. I don't know if he was expecting something from her and it never came. I only know that I was handed the chance to be part of something. A reconciliation, a goodbye, something. And I let it slip into a drawer and close. I was 15. I know that. I also know that some mistakes live inside you not because of what they cost you, but because of what they cost someone else. Quietly, without them ever knowing.
10 confessions. 10 people who decided the weight was too heavy to carry alone. Some of them found relief. Some of them, I think, are still waiting for it. If you made it to the end, thank you. These kinds of stories stick with you because they remind you that most people are carrying something they've never said out loud. If any of this resonated with you, leave a comment. You don't have to say what it is. Just let someone know you were here. I'll see you in the next one.